We all change. When you think about it, we are all different people all through our lives. And that's okay, that's good. You gotta keep moving so long as you remember all the people that you used to be. I will not forget one line of this. Not one day. I swear. I will always remember when the Doctor was me.
In the series Doctor Who, regeneration refers to the process by which a Time Lord, such as the Doctor, undergoes a complete physical and often psychological transformation, granting them a new body and persona while retaining memories and aspects of their previous selves. This concept can be analyzed on several levels to understand its metaphorical significance. In Doctor Who, regeneration is an ability unique to a particular sect of Gallifreyans that have stared into the untempered schism, effectively viewing all of time and space in an instant. In New Who, looking into the untempered schism caused the Master to go mad, constantly hearing the sound of beating drums. The Doctor, however, runs from Gallifrey, and hasn't stopped since. Aside from all the lore surrounding regeneration and the controversial detail that the Doctor is the timeless child, and the source of all Time Lord regeneration abilities, regeneration serves as a metaphor for the changing tide, how us, even as humans, undergo profound changes in our lifetimes that irrevocably alter our perceptions, our behaviors. From the time I was 5 years of age to now feels like an eternity. It feels as though I've already lived dozens of lives at least. In many ways, the Doctor is an excellent analog of the various changes that we go through as humans, and how it behooves no one to remain stagnant. Each iteration of the Doctor houses the same soul, the same spiritual essence that makes them the Doctor. Yet each Doctor has their own quirks, mannerisms, and differences in fashion choices. Each Doctor wears a new outfit, one that suits them, not their previous iteration. And this is much akin to people's fashion senses changing and evolving over time. When I was in elementary school and middle school, I loved shirts that had skulls on them and would wear anything with a skull, especially a skull with wings. In high school, I toned down the skulls and went for more nerdy graphic t-shirts, wearing anime and video game themed shirts until I started wearing graphic t-shirts with just the labels of the brands on them. After this, I mostly started wearing plain shirts, started growing my hair out, and wearing a hat all the time. And since then, my sense of fashion has been all over the place and I change up what I wear more often now than I used to. Now, think of the Doctor, both in Classic and New Who. The Doctor not only changes their face and personality, but they change their wardrobe to better reflect this change. Clothing is a form of self-expression, and we can see how the self-expression of not only the Doctor changes over the years, but how our own self-expression changes with time. Sure, some of it is age and maturity, though it can also be to experiment with new forms of self-expression. Some wear clothes to stand out, some wear to obscure themselves, whereas others may simply wear what's practical. The clothes that someone wears can speak volumes about their character. Look at Eccleston's Ninth Doctor with his shaved head and leather jacket. The Ninth Doctor was an edgier, darker iteration of the character, as this was the Doctor that had only just regenerated from ending the last Great Time War, killing all Daleks and Time Lords alike. Or so he thought. There's a darkness underneath the surface of Eccleston's portrayal of the character, and while it's evident in his acting, the wardrobe choice also demonstrates this Doctor is more serious and damaged than Matt Smith's 11th Doctor in his shaggy hair, tweed jacket, and bow tie. It's no mistake that film and television companies employ people to plan and design the wardrobe to match the characters for a project. Hence why each regeneration of the Doctor, each new variation of this character wishes for a new outfit, to separate themselves from who they once were and embrace who they have become. As previously mentioned, change throughout the lifespan is influenced by growth and aging. In Doctor Who, regeneration is often triggered by severe injury or old age. This physical change mirrors the aging process that all individuals undergo. As people grow older, their bodies change and they experience physical transformations, such as changes in their voice, skin, or even their eyebrows. Regeneration reflects this process, emphasizing the inevitability and naturalness of change and growth. The first Doctor regenerates due to old age, as does the 11th Doctor. whereas doctors like 9 and 10 regenerate from some sort of severe injury. In life, both from old age and from injury, we humans change and develop. As you grow older, your voice changes, your body changes, and you are effectively no longer the same person that you once were. And as you continue to grow, you don't stop changing. You may not always like the changes that you undergo, yet they are a part of your personal experience nonetheless. Sometimes we experience changes we would rather avoid, such as being injured and your body no longer working the same way it once did, or natural physical changes such as graying hair. Yet despite those changes, the core of each person remains. The doctor may change faces, and we may change faces. However, we don't change souls. I often wonder what I will look like when I'm older, as even my parents look quite different from when they were teenagers, and I certainly have changed since I was a teenager as well. Rather than not accepting the changes, much like the doctor, we must be willing to accept these changes to embrace the evolution of the self. When the War Doctor meets the 10th and 11th Doctors, he's baffled by the changes that he has undergone. And much like a younger version of yourself, it's not all that surprising from that perspective. If you had not yet lived through the circumstances of your future self, of course you wouldn't understand their perspective. They would seem like a different person to you. Change not only comes with growth, aging, and injury, but also from the environment and experiences we are dealt. The War Doctor, 10th Doctor, and 11th Doctor illustrate this perfectly, as they each have differing perspectives on the last Great Time War, and this can be attributed not only to the passage of time, but also to the events that have been experienced by each version of the Doctor. And not all of them have access to those memories and experiences. Moreover, 11 forgetting how many people were on Gallifrey when they destroyed it is also a testament to how we as people can often forget, sometimes even intentionally, the things we don't like about ourselves. It's also a beautiful demonstration that with enough time and change, anyone can become distant and removed from who they used to be, whether intentional or not. The 10th Doctor is the man who regrets, whereas the 11th is the man who forgets, illustrating that people can be both, and that given enough time, we may have difficulty recalling details of our own history, and like 10 and 11, can look back on the personal history with disdain for the choices we made, and the people we were when we made them. How often have you heard the phrase, "That's not who I am anymore"? Time Lords are just a bit luckier than us humans, as their aging process is much longer, yet they still experience the same regret and trauma and hopes and dreams. We humans change our faces just like Time Lords. It's simply less noticeable. Alongside the physical change, regeneration also entails a psychological transformation as well. The Doctor's personality, preferences, and quirks often shift with each regeneration, reflecting how individuals develop and change psychologically throughout their lives. Just as people evolve in response to their experiences, Time Lord's regeneration represents a similar journey of personal growth and development. Just as each iteration of the Doctor looks different, they think and respond a little differently as well, akin to the psychological evolution that people go through constantly. As you age and grow older, you will certainly appear different, though you will likely act differently as well. Sure, when people interact with you, they will still know you're the same person, yet that does not mean a profound change has not occurred. Not only am I amazed when I interact with individuals from high school that looked vastly different, but I'm also often shocked by how different they seem to be when speaking with them. As many of them have changed drastically, and while they're the same people technically, there's a clear difference in their words, demeanor, or even their life choices. From one Doctor to another, we can see clear psychological differences alongside the physical ones. Sure, physical changes like the 11th Doctor having vastly different taste buds than the 10th Doctor happen, but so too do the Doctor's personalities change in many ways over time, while the core characteristics of the Doctor remain after each regeneration, such as the sense of adventure, the intellect and sense of justice, and the chattiness, of course, yet there remain changes between each version of the Doctor, like 11's whimsical and socially awkward nature, 10's friendly down-to-earth disposition masking grief, or the more impersonal and direct demeanor of the 12th Doctor. Much like Time Lords, humans are effectively multiple people throughout their lifetime. Each of us also likely has a favorite Doctor, or have even had multiple over the years. Currently, my favorite Doctor is Eccleston. Perhaps it's because he's the first person I saw portray the character, though I think it's because his specific portrayal of that character resonates with me the most. There are likely physical reasons one may have a favorite doctor, such as many adoring David Tennant not only for his acting but for his appearance, though there are also deeply rooted psychological reasons one may favor a particular doctor over another, and that's perfectly fine, as each doctor represents a different slice of humanity, different slices many of us inhabit or have inhabited at some point. Depending on where you're at in your life, this may influence your choice of doctor. If your favorite doctor changes over time, that's great, as that means you're changing as well. Think of someone you interacted with when they were quite young, like a cousin or a nephew, and then think about how vastly different they were the next time you saw them, and they were more physically and cognitively mature, especially if you hadn't seen them in years. This is my experience with several of my cousins that live a good distance from myself, as they almost seem like different people each time I interact with them. Though simply because someone has aged and changed with time and experience does not mean we would then say they are a different person with a different name. Yet it would also not be correct to say they are the exact same person they were when you had previously seen them. Their interests, fashion, and voice may have changed. They may have regenerated into their next incarnation. Despite the physical and psychological transformations, regenerating Time Lords retain key aspects of their identity, such as memories and core values. This continuity amidst change echoes the idea that while individuals may undergo significant transformations through their lives, there remains a fundamental continuity to their identity. It suggests that despite external changes, one's core essence remains intact. Much like Time Lords, humans undergo transformations all the time, yet your memories and values remain. While you may not be the exact same person you were a decade prior, that personal core remains, that unique essence remains. It's what grounds us in those difficult moments that challenge who we are, when we're forced to question our choices and actions, and decide what must change and what must stay the same. In Doctor Who, we see how the Doctor's core of being a justice-oriented and kind person allows them to change. It allows them to renew with time, and grow from past mistakes. An example of this is seen with the 11th Doctor, as he brings Rory along to travel with him and Amy, as he learned from his past mistake of cutting into the relationship between Mickey and Rose when he was the 9th and 10th Doctor. As the 9th Doctor, he drove a wedge between Rose and Mickey, and as the 10th, he stole Rose away from Mickey. As the 11th, he fights to keep Amy and Rory together, understanding that he could easily fall into a repeating pattern. In your life, has there ever been a time in which you were filled with deep regret, and moving forward you made different choices? Did learning from those past mistakes alter your future as a result? Perhaps you are a Time Lord after all. Regeneration underscores the transient nature of existence and the importance of embracing change and renewal. Just as the Doctor accepts and adapts to each regeneration, individuals must also come to terms with the impermanence of life and the necessity of embracing new beginnings. Regeneration serves as a reminder that change, while often daunting, can lead to new opportunities for growth and transformation. Nothing lasts forever, no one lives forever, no feeling lasts forever, no circumstance lasts forever. Change is inevitable. That lasts forever. This is true for both us humans as well as Time Lords, as even Time Lords, apart from the Doctor, cannot live forever. Furthermore, regeneration was described by the 10th Doctor as being akin to dying, that person he currently is disappears and a new person enters. Like the rebirth many undergo intentionally or unintentionally. For some, this comes with religion. For others, it may be therapy, or perhaps the cultivation of personal relationships. Through various factors in our lives, we undergo constant changes. In water and in life, stagnation leads to toxicity. If Time Lords don't change, and we don't change, then what's the point in living? Where's the fun and sameness? Where's the growth? All change is not always for the better, though accepting that change is inevitable is necessary to live in this world. Tomorrow your life could change, so cherish who you are today, and who you will become. Through regeneration, the Doctor effectively lives multiple lives, each with its own set of experiences, relationships, and challenges. This multiplicity of existence reflects the idea that individuals can lead many different lives within the span of their own, experiencing various perspectives, roles, and identities. It suggests that life is a continuous journey of exploration and discovery, with each phase offering new possibilities and insights. In essence, Regeneration in Doctor Who serves as a rich metaphor for the myriad of changes and transformations individuals undergo throughout their lives. It encapsulates themes of growth, personal development, continuity amidst change, impermanence, and the multiplicity of existence. By exploring these themes through the lens of science fiction, Doctor Who offers audiences a poignant reflection on the nature of identity, growth, and the human experience. We may not live for thousands of years, nor do we get to shoot energy beams from our appendages, as amazing as that would be. Yet within one lifetime, we can live many lives encompassing the different aspects of the human experience. Sometimes we love, sometimes we hate, sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad. Yet we always grow and evolve, bettering ourselves and learning from our past errors. We are forced to change, and we can choose to change. Yet we don't always have the privilege of such a choice, much like the Second Doctor, and have to adapt to the changes around us. We can choose how we respond to the changes in our lives. Our lives are long, and we can become so separated from the different lives we've lived. Yet our memories and connections ground us. We transform, yet remain the same. In the end, we are Time Lords.